Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you are all safe and well during these trying times. I am the Curious Owlbear, and we're continuing the series where we delve into the darkest places in Dungeons & Dragons. Today, we'll look at the lore surrounding the terrifying Lich, the Zulkir of Necromancy, and the ruler of Thay, Szass Tam. Let's dive in. Szass Tam has been a feared Lich for the last 200 plus years. He appears as a tall human with intellectual features, dark eyes, and a wispy black beard. He is gaunt and pale, often wearing vermilion robes trimmed with gems and gold. The only clues to his true form are his withered hands and the faint scent of dry rot. Szass Tam is rarely spotted without his ebony staff or another great staff of power. Those who interacted with Szass Tam noted that he was usually calm and collected. He was extremely polite and courteous to those who kept their word, but insolence or defiance could quickly shift his demeanor to that of pure rage. Szass Tam would even offer courtesy to those who bested him through cleverness, assuming that they were polite to him in their exchanges. He is quick to forsake those in his service, however, as he is said to view the world as a game board, and all of its inhabitants as playing pieces. At the age of 53, and in his mortal form, Szass Tam was already a powerful wizard among the ranks of the Red Wizards of Thay. Szass spotted an opportunity, leading a group of Red Wizards in an insurrection against the current Zulkir of Necromancy. The coup was successful, and Szass Tam was named successor to the title in 1157 DR. 2 years later, Szass used his great magical prowess to become a Lich. At some point during this time, Szass slew his former mentor and took a powerful magical crystal ball from which he procured all varieties of magical potions, ingredients, texts, and arcane devices. In 1201 DR, Szass Tam slew the Zulkir of Illusion, Nymor Thrall, after a failed invasion of a neighboring country, Algorand. Szass also slew the leader of Algorand, but was eventually defeated by the great wizard Elminster Almar in 1222 DR. Elminster was already a powerful wizard, by this time over 1,000 years old, and a favorite servant of Mystra, goddess of magic. I'm considering doing a separate video on Elminster, as he is a very interesting character in lore. Let me know down below if you'd like to hear more about one of the few who was able to defeat Szass Tam at any point in history. Almost 150 years after this defeat, Szass Tam worked to release Eltab, the demon lord of the hidden layer of the Abyss, from his imprisonment. The effects of this invasion were felt all over Faerun as demon cysts formed, releasing demons and reshaping the landscape. These were fragments of the hidden layer of the Abyss, somehow dragged to the prime material plane through the ritual which released Eltab. Szass Tam utilized this invasion as a distraction, and moved his undead legions, which are commanded by vampires and lesser lich, into Algorand. His efforts were thwarted once again, however. A few years later, in 1375 DR, Szass Tam took his seat of power in Thay. There had been a small struggle, in which some of the other Zulkirs banded together against Szass Tam. He did have some allies, though a few attempted to shift sides during the ensuing struggles. One of these Zulkirs was Yaphil, Zulkir of Divination. Szass Tam brutally tortured her, forcing her to use her magic to the extent of its limits, without any regard for the damage it caused to Yaphil. Szass Tam's goal was to extort the means for a successful victory over his rivaling country Algorand. This Yaphil provided, but she also granted one final prophecy, which foretold of the terrible spell plague that was soon to strike Faerun. As Yaphil predicted, Szass Tam won a glorious victory over Algorand, but then the spell plague hit. One of Szass Tam's most powerful artifacts, the Death Moon Orb, exploded in his hand, causing great damage to the Lich and freeing his former ally. Szass Tam was exposed to the azure flame of the spell plague, but he still attempted to regain control over Yafil, who was eventually slain. Later, with the final conquest of the Zolkirs in mind, Szass Tam made a pact with the dark god Bane, which granted Szass Tam new powers in exchange for his soul, which was to be relinquished 1,000 years after the conquest of the Zolkirs. With his newfound power, Szass Tam summoned additional legions of undead, pursuing his foes into naval warfare. There, he dealt a final victorious blow to the Zolkirs. Since then, the Lich has seemed content with his conquests, retiring to Thay. He continuously plots and schemes, twisting the world around him through his various and numerous servants. There are several hundred years to go until his soul must be relinquished, so we must wait to see what further horrors this Lich has planned. And that brings us to the end of today's lore. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button. If you have any ideas or requests for future videos, I'd love to read about them in the comments section below. Until next time, be well, be excellent to one another, and stay curious, adventurers.